Hi guys, I'm Kate. I'm an indie producer and artist, and today I'm going to show you how you can harmonize even if you don't have any knowledge of music theory whatsoever. I think this skill is really important, especially if you're a vocalist. Something that can really set your mixes apart is learning how to properly layer your vocals, and harmonization is a huge part of that. So to start, you have to decide on the key of your track. I'm gonna go over this pretty quickly, but let me know if you want more videos on music theory. I'm just gonna choose C major because it's the simplest key. This is just all the keys that aren't black, so the whole C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So just from the first C to the next C. And the way that you find the C is you go to the group of black keys, that's just the two of them, find the most left one, and then that's your C. Let's go ahead and move to the DOS to start building harmonies using the scale. Essentially, harmonies are just stacking notes on top of a root note in a way that sounds good. Usually this means using certain notes throughout a note scale. So for example, we're gonna use C major. We're gonna consider C our root note since that's the main note or the tonic of our scale. So we have a C. Generally speaking, basic harmonies kind of outline a chord, and with chords, we're using the third and the fifth notes of our scale. So to give you more of a visual, if this is C right here, then if we go the third note, C, D, E, so we're gonna use E, and then the fifth note is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is G. So they would sound like this, and then G. And then if you were to play them all together, you'd get a full chord. In order to harmonize, let's record our C note. So I'm just gonna take a listen to the C we have here. And one thing to note is you can keep stacking. So here I have C, I did the third, the fifth, but I could also do the seventh, which you'll see a lot in groovier, jazzier music, and that would be the seventh note of the scale, and C major would be B. And then you can restart and do an octave, which is the next C up. Again, I can do other videos on music theory. This is just to give you a sense of how we organize harmonies. It's really just knowing certain patterns, what rules to apply to them, I guess. But anyway, so we have C. Let's go ahead and record that. Ooh. Okay, so I gave myself a little more than I needed to, because you can see, see, get it, because the key. It took me a little bit to really get into it. Okay, so let me just cut off that tail. So now we have our C note. Okay, so the next on the scale is the E. The E sounds like this. There we have our E. It's a little timid in that one. That's fine though. Just to give you an idea. And then together they sound like this. So you can see you're already starting to really build that harmony. Let's go another layer. I'm gonna build the G. Over time, this process will just become much more intuitive. Like when I'm stacking harmonies, or when I, create a vocal and I want to harmonize on top of it, I don't even have to, most of the time, play it out on the piano anymore. It just, those patterns start to become ingrained into your workflow and into your brain, and you can automatically come up with what that third or that fifth or that seventh would sound like. So it does get easier with practice, but if you want to be exact and you don't know where to start, I think using this method of writing the notes out on the piano is great. And you can also just look up online like what different scales are, and then just write those into your piano roll. If you don't have the knowledge of like how a major or minor scale or whatever you're looking to create works. Okay, and that stack sounds like this. And then that can be enough, but I'm just gonna go ahead and add the 7th and the octave on top just to give you a more full sound for funsies. All right, so now that we have all of our layers all together, they sound like this. Beautiful. You can also take off the B and the C, or the extra layers. Just experiment with mixing and matching which ones you want on, which ones you want off. But yeah, that's how you can start to create harmonies. Another way that you can artificially do this, if you don't have the time or you just want to do it in a different way, you can use like a pitch shifter plugin, or Ableton's really great. It already has it built into the system. So I just duplicated our root note, which was C, and you can just go to the sampler here. One thing to note is that semitones are different than notes themselves, so you would have to understand that relationship. But you can also just see what sounds good. So for example, if I wanted to get to my root E, I just know from experience, but you can also look this up online, I can do a video on this, that it's gonna be 4 semitones up. So you just artificially create that harmony. And then you can also check. I mean, obviously it's not, you know, as humanized as the actual E sound, but it's good if you're in a pinch, or if you really just want more of a robotic, metallic, futuristic type thing. You can also use other plugins like one of my favorites, and I'm sure the favorites of many other people, is the Alter Boy by Sound Toys. Is amazing. There's so many different pitch shifting modules that you can play with for harmonization. Another thing that I learned about recently in Ableton is you can take your root note, and if you don't know, like say you just think of a note and you want to harmonize on top of it, but you don't know how, you haven't built the skill yet to think of it automatically, you can highlight your track, right click, and then click convert melody to new MIDI track. And then you'll see, oh, okay, this is a C. And then, you know, reverse engineer the first method, like what is 3 notes on top of that, which is an E, and, you know, record it that way. Or, you know, there's a simpler way, I suppose. That's an option though, if you wanted the MIDI for whatever reason. You can also just use a tuner. And you can also see that I was a bit sharp here, but the tuner will let you know where you are. But anyway, yeah, so that's a basic introduction on how you build harmonies, or vocal harmonies. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if you want more videos that are more in-depth on music theory and scales and how all that stuff works. The only reason that I knew it was because I forced myself to take a class back when I was in school, but it can be a pain to learn, but I think it has helped me. Certain things have helped me in the long run as a producer and an artist. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.